fun before the show.
We were having fun. Here's why we were having fun before the show. It seems like, Wade did this thing last week. Wade went on a rant.
I went out of control.
Wade, and
blew my cork.
Can I say something before we talk about Wade's rant?
Yeah.
Is that Wade does this rant about Sucker Punch and Zack Snyder and how they're both the end of civilization, and then Corey Levin, who does all of our graphics, at least tonight he does, because I don't know about tomorrow. Because the guy, he goes see Sucker Punch, and he's like, I liked it.
Did you really like it, or is it?
I really liked it.
Give it a week.
He completely called you out on Facebook, though.
Yeah.
He didn't say he liked it. He was like, "Hey, at Mark Keizer, at Wade Major, you're wrong."
Give it a week. Let it kind of.
I don't understand.
I know.
And you never will.
I never will.
Right,
you know what? That's something I don't want to understand. Let me tell you. But Wade, here's the thing. But before we get to the show, we have Super, we have Source Code, all sorts of good stuff. Wade, why are you cluttering our workspace?
No, I'll tell you, because this goes a little bit to the rant and to actually what a friend of mine this last week said was more like a global race to the bottom, which really totally resonated with me. And then this came in the mail. And we get a lot of DVDs and stuff. Mark and I do. We get invited to movies, all the usual swag. We get a lot of press releases. I got this in the mail, and I thought, really, the Blu-ray of Ben-Hur already? I didn't even know that it was coming out. No. This isn't the Blu-ray of Ben-Hur. This is the press release in a custom box, custom box, with a full-color booklet, a letter on letterhead, Ben-Hur letterhead, mind you, custom Ben-Hur letterhead. Full-color booklet with pictures, the whole schmear, 11 Academy Awards, a little screener deal in the back.
And you're selling it on eBay tonight.
And then, to seal the whole thing, a custom leather diary that says Ben-Hur with and a pen that says Ben-Hur, okay?
Ben-Hur.
They spent Warner Brothers.
Ben-Hur.
Thank you. Warner Brothers spent a pile of money on this. And this is a 50-year-old movie. So my point being, how many movies in the last 10 years, when they get to be 50 years old, are going to merit that kind of reverential treatment?
Go rant, monkey! Go rant! Rant, monkey!
I'm just saying.
Wade's doing the ranty dance! The ranty dance!
This is the problem with all the stuff. Everything's disposable now. How many movies of the last 10, 15 years have such meaning for people, are so profoundly well done, so integrated into their lives, that in 50 years they're going to be waiting for that special edition, that 50th anniversary edition? Or is it just next year, it's already old, it's done, it's gone with, it's in the $1.99 bin?
Well, because back then, movies were not considered product, and they were not considered part of a tiny part of an enormous conglomerate that just cares about their quarterly profit earnings.
But I do think it's part of that global race to the bottom thing, which is that we're now focused on Big Macs as opposed to great meals. We're focused on we need something that goes in and out, and we're done, and then move on to the next thing. And the studios are slitting their throats. They're devaluing their libraries. They're making movies that are not going to give value back to their libraries long term. The value for film companies has always been in the library, meaning that you have product that is valuable year after year, decade after decade in perpetuity. Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, go on and on and on. Citizen
It's the same thing that happened to music. Music went short-term goal.
Yeah.
No back catalog anymore. Britney Spears is not a back catalog.
Yeah.
Right? Friday is not a back catalog. I don't know the music thing.
Well, also, the problem, too, is that back starting with, let's say, the Beatles, we're getting way off of movies. Let's say starting with the Beatles, the music industry became an album-based industry.
Yeah.
Now with iTunes, it is a singles-based industry.
True.
You go to iTunes, you buy one single for 99 cents, that's it.
Which is what music started at first. And then they realized there was back catalog, and then the Beatles did a full album, and then they had Pet Sounds, and then people started like, oh, we can do a whole album, and now we're going back to singles.
And by
now,
not
good singles. Back then it was good.
By now, more people have probably watched those two baby twins talking to each other on YouTube than
Wade's rant.
Than any of the
Although
movies.
I don't know, I'm getting a lot of play on Wade's rant.
All right, well.
Wade's rant struck a nerve.
By the way, more importantly, you know what today is? Start of baseball season.
Oh, well, there you go.
Baseball season, quick, best baseball movie ever.
I'm going to say The Natural.
Wrong.
Wow. I'm going to say 8 Men Out.
Wrong. Oh, wait, I agree with both of those.
Fever Pitch.
You know what? I can't name a bad baseball movie. I love every baseball movie. Except Fever Pitch. Fever Pitch was horrible.
Yeah.
As a Red Sox fan, it was an abomination, disgusting.
You know,
I even like Rookie of the Year. I tear up during that.
Rookie of the Year is good. Major League is funny. Major League Funny.
Field of
Yes,
Dreams.
the bit outside.
Field of Dreams, of course.
Field of Dreams.
Just a bit outside.
It's fantastic.
Major League is great, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's baseball movies are all really good.
Buy
usually.
it. Natural, buy it.
Yeah, Natural.
8 Men Out, buy it.
And
Major League, buy it.
although on the Natural, for whatever reason, I assume rights, the original theatrical trailer of The Natural, impossible to find. Not online, not anywhere, nowhere. The one that uses the Vangelis theme from Missing. Can't find it. Greatest trailer ever created for any movie, ever. Can't find it anywhere.
You only say that because you know no one can find it to refute your claim.
You know what? Honestly, I say this right now. If anyone out there can find the trailer for The Natural, the one that uses the theme from Missing, stop it, Mark, let us know. Tell us where it is. Post it. Get it out there.
And who's going to win the World Series?
I'll tell you, everybody, the Red Sox are going to win the East. They really are.
And your
There's
Mets?
no doubt about it.
Mets season started today. They're already 10 games out.
We are so dreadful.
How did that happen?
We are so dreadful.
Oh, too funny.
All right.
It's a rebuilding year.
Quickly before we move on to the movies this week, to let everybody know, if you go to stupidformovies.com, you can watch all our movies. You go to streaminggarage.com, you can watch all our shows and link to Stupid for Movies. We may have a couple little down moments on our .coms, and I'll explain why. We were on GoDaddy, and if you don't know the whole story about GoDaddy, their horrible CEO, wait, what was his name again? Oh, I forgot his name. Bob Parsons put up a video of him butchering and destroying and killing an elephant. And so I said, that's not going to work for me. And I literally stayed up all last night and changed all our domains over. 60 domains, got rid of all of them, and put them up on a new place. And I actually even have a, what did I put up to? Namecheap, namecheap.com, because they're actually donating money to savetheelephants.org. So I want to give them a shout out. So if you go to namecheap.com, you can switch over. And I actually wrote a Tumblr blog, if you go on Tumblr, on how to do it. It's very simple. I wrote a step-by-step how to change your domain, because you should get off GoDaddy and not support anybody like that. And at Streaming Garage, we will not support disgusing people like that.
Maybe it was an evil elephant.
You know, actually, I have to say that I agree with Mike, and I actually changed all my domain names to deadelephants.com. So if you want to check me out, go to what? Now, Wade, here's the thing. First of all, Mike, bye. Let's give a hand to Mike Robin, everybody.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
Give it up
my rant.
for the little effluents. The little effluents need to be protected. Stupid effluents. Okay.
Pachyderms.
Now, we got a lot of big
Packing
shows
it up
coming
from
up.
pachyderms.
Huh? Okay,
Packing it in.
wait, shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a lot of big shows coming up. Now, here's some guests we have coming up, Wade.
Really?
It's a big deal.
You got guests?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I get this email. I get this email from a very funny writer who Mike and I had worked with. He says,
Yes.
"Do you want to have Phil Rosenthal on the show?" Now, Phil Rosenthal, this is the guy from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
The guiding light, the producer, the guy who made
Yeah.
it happen. Everybody Loves Raymond.
That's great.
He has a documentary called Exporting Raymond that Phil wants to promote. Come on the show to promote. Now, just to give you a tease.
Awesome.
Just to give you a tease.
Okay.
Exporting Raymond, totally fascinating. Now, Phil Rosenthal, he creates this Raymond show. And it turns out that, like many TV shows, you can do foreign versions of them and make even more money, do versions in different countries, in different languages. So he's hired to go to Moscow and create a Russian version of Everybody Loves Raymond. And that wound up being, I'll just say, a disaster. And the documentary, Exporting Raymond, is all about his experience. So Phil Rosenthal will be a guest on the show. Not quite sure when, Mike?
Coming up.
I could have said that.
Yeah, he's touring around with it, and he's got to do, we're hoping for a Thursday. I think next Thursday he had to go do, what's his face? There's another famous, Leonard Maltin.
Huh?
Leonard Maltin teaches a class at USC, and he's sitting in on that, and he might run over here afterwards. We're going to get it all set, and we'll, of course, Facebook it and let you know what he's going to be on.
And then, so we're excited about that. And then Dave Foley. Now, here's the thing with Dave Foley.
Dave Foley, Kids in the
Dave
Hall.
Foley was starred in one of our Try This at Home films. And now the Foley man himself, Kids in the Hall. I'm crushing
Awesome.
got ahead, Wade. I'm crushing got ahead. Remember that?
The star, the voice star of Bug's Life.
That is true. Very true.
Yeah.
He'll be on.
Nice.
So that's exciting.
Coming up. Yep.
Great.
Coming up.
A lot
Now,
of stuff in April and May.
that's right. Now,
And one more.
Now, on April 14th, we're particularly excited. Alex Albrecht showing up
Hey.
to do
Dignation.
Guys, Dignation, totally rad show.
Yep.
And not only that, he has great taste in comedies. He's going to
Very
come
good.
on. He's going to talk about a particular comedy on April 14th. Now, you don't know what this comedy is, Wade.
No, I don't.
I do.
Okay.
But soon you're about to know,
Okay.
because here's Alex now.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex Albrecht. I'm the creator and co-host of Dignation, as well as the creator and co-host of Totally Rad Show. do a lot of internet stuff, as it were. And I'm excited that I'm going to be on Stupid for Movies April 14th, which is going to be super fun. We are going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of all time, Three Amigos. So your homework, my friends, watch Three Amigos. Join us April 14th for some live discussion and chat with the Stupid for Movies guys, myself, all in the streaming garage. What up?
Three Amigos.
Very cool.
Funny.
Right on.
That Three Amigos is one of the great quotable comedies of our youths.
Yes.
Along with, let's say, Caddyshack.
And it also stars 3 people who would all be better Oscar hosts than the 2 that we had this year.
Oh.
So April 14th.
April 14th,
Watch
we have
that.
Alex Albrecht from
right.
Watch
Dig
April
Nation.
14th.
Totally rad show to talk
Yeah.
about Three Amigos, talk about what he's doing. So we're very excited about that. April 14th. All right, Wade, so
Nice.
we've done all that.
We have.
Now there's only one thing left to do, Wade.
Close the show.
Good night, everybody.
It's like we've been doing this
Good
long
night.
enough. Why don't we get on to what the show's about?
This weekend in movies!
Corey's Rip Taylor impression is just ripping the room apart. All right.
All right, so here's the thing. We have 4 movies, Wade.
We do.
So we got to kind of move
Move it
this
along. Move it along.
So, Wade, you'll talk about the first film, which,
I
is,
sure will.
which is the big release of the week.
It's the big release of the week. This is Source Code. This is the new film from director Duncan Jones, who was born Zowie Bowie. That's right, Duncan Jones, who is probably sick of people talking about him as David Bowie's son, because he really is a great filmmaker in his own right. Duncan Jones' first film a couple of years ago was Moon, starring Sam Rockwell, which had elements of a lot of 2001 movies from the late 60s, 70s, 2001, Silent Running. It was very much an homage to those films, Kevin Spacey doing a Hal-like computer voice. But the movie really had its own personality. It wound up taking a very interesting direction, and it was one of the most intelligent science fiction films of the last decade, and it was made for pennies on the dollar. Yet, it realistically recreated the moon. Duncan Jones was in the running to direct the next Superman movie, but he was displaced by Zack Snyder, who we all know how we feel about Zack Snyder here.
Take the paper
But
away from him.
I'm there.
get it away. But Duncan Jones got the better end of the deal here. He has now directed what I think is likely to still be one of the best films of the year when the end of the year rolls around. A few years ago, Source Code probably would have been a big Tom Cruise summer movie made by a studio. As it is, it's an independent movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal, but it is an extremely intelligent, relatively complicated, but very accessible thriller with Jake Gyllenhaal as a soldier who is involved in a top-secret experiment that involves a kind of virtual recreation of events where he has to figure his way out of a very, very difficult terrorist situation. Here's a clip.
What would you do if you knew you had less than 8 minutes to live?
I don't know. I'd make those seconds count.
I would call my dad. I would hear his voice, and I'd tell him I was sorry. Tell me everything's gonna be okay.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Now that is the wonderful Michelle Monaghan, who I think is a very underrated actress, and it hasn't been getting great parts lately. She has a very good one here. She's the woman that he meets on the train and doesn't realize that he knows her, but yet he does know her. These are all these kind of virtual reality questions that he has to sort out as he relives this experience over and over and over in an effort to decipher what it is that he's supposed to find. I don't want to give too much more away. It's a great mystery. It's a great thriller. Those two things don't usually go together, but I think Duncan Jones proves that he was not just a one-trick pony with a low-budget science fiction film. This guy is for real. Forget about being David Bowie's kid. Even if he were, you know, Joe the barber's kid, he would be an amazing director. He's got chops. I can't wait to see what he does next.
I agree. I think that this movie it's fair, it's efficient, it's fun,
Yeah.
and it's smart. And the only knock I'll give it,
Yeah.
and I liked it a lot. The only knock I'll give it is that you have the Jake Gyllenhaal character is a character you're supposed to care about a little bit by the end.
Yeah.
However, I don't know that they really did enough work on the character, so by the time that end comes, and supposedly you're supposed to feel for this person, you don't really, because the movie is really about the thriller mechanics of it.
True, and I could say the same thing about what, a lot of people have been comparing this. They've been saying it's like The Matrix meets The Thing meets Inception. It's got nothing to do with The Matrix or Inception. It's nothing at all like them. It's just those are people going for, I don't know, let's think of another science fiction movie that makes you think a little. I know, let's compare it to that. Not really. More than anything, it's probably like The Menagerie, the 2-part Star Trek episode, right? It's got elements of it.
Oh, it does, absolutely, absolutely.
And it not a lot, but enough to make you go, wow, that's interesting, and I like that. Also, I want to shout out to screenwriter Ben Ripley, who it's tough for me, because Ben Ripley's an SC guy, Bruin here. But
Species 3 was Ben Ripley's...
You know what? Ben Ripley wrote 2 straight-to-video Species movies.
Right.
2 straight-to-video Species sequels, and that's normally like Hack City. But for him to emerge from that and deliver something like this, I think, please, let your days in straight-to-video hell be over. Keep writing stuff like this. Lay it out there, because he's really talented.
And also, I'd written down Don Burgess, who shot it. And, you know, it's so well shot for a couple of reasons. First of all, he gives it a little bit of a Hitchcockian feel, which I kind of liked. I thought it was kind of unique. And also, when you're shooting the same event over and over again, you got to find different ways to make it interesting so you don't feel like you're seeing the same 8 minutes over and over again. And he really does that. It's a good-looking film.
Does a great job. That would be Don Burgess, I think, who used to work with Robert Zemeckis back when he actually photographed human beings.
Oh, because Don Burgess shot Forrest Gump.
Yep.
And so I think that Source Code is, I had a very good time in it. It's only like 93 minutes, but
it's tight.
It's exactly as long as it should be.
It's tight, and it rocks, and it rolls. And
Jeffrey Wright is terrific in it as sort
really
of the shadowy government
Vera
figure.
Farmiga as the face that Jake Gyllenhaal sees somewhere in a control room that has to direct his activities and sort it out. It's great. It's all great.
The one thing that Jones does, which I like in this, is that he deals in a lot of close-ups. There's a lot of close-ups of Vera Farmiga, who's in a video screen a lot of the time.
But
there's a lot of close-ups of Jeffrey Wright, who's so terrific.
But yet it's not closed in. It's not claustrophobic.
Not at all.
I mean, he knows, and this is always the thing. Look, directing, I'm going to say this. Directing is about directing actors, first and foremost. Forget about lenses and cameras and music and special effects. Forget it. It's about actors. And what Duncan Jones does best is he gets the performances that he needs, and then he fills in everything else with production value, with art direction, with the music. Everything else flows into those spaces, and that's the way it should be. Once you've got those performances locked down, let everything else just kind of blossom.
That's true. So basically, don't worry about the fact that the story is preposterous, and you're not expected to understand all of it, and I don't even know that they understand all of it. It's really just a launching off point to tell this story. So for me, it's a buy for me.
It's a buy for me.
Look at that.
I know.
I think it might be our first buy.
That's your first buy.
You know what this means? It means the stinker season of January and February is finally over.
Oh, wait for Arthur, everyone.
Well,
which we haven't seen yet.
Seeing it Monday.
I'm seeing it Monday too.
All right.
So all right, so that's Source Code. Now wait, I saw this film called Rubber.
I'm sorry.
And I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's a porno film, hilarious Rubber.
What
is that? That's not.
Look how awesome that is.
That's not the one sheet. No, is that the one sheet for Rubber?
Well,
that must be one of the.
Corey made the tire.
That must be the one of the festival one sheets, because the actual release, the actual official one sheet is not that. It's much more interesting. Not as sexy, but much more indicative of what the film is. Rubber is this bizarre horror comedy about a car tire that comes to life and kills people with its telekinetic powers.
What?
Yes, it was directed by a Frenchman named Quentin Dupieux. What's his name?
Dupieux.
Quentin Dupieux. Look at me with the T goes up here, Wade Major. Who's a director and also scored the film. And obviously, it's an experimental film. When you watch the movie, you see this tire slowly excavate itself from the barren desert sand, and it rolls around as it teaches itself how to move, and then slowly starts to explore its environment. And it's just literally about a car tire come to life. And you look at this clip, you'll get a sense of what I mean.
Wow. that's great.
The director
That is
there,
terrific.
I'll tell you, the movie is very well shot. What the director used a Canon 5D. He shot the whole thing on a Canon 5D.
Did he really?
And he gets very close up into the tire. So as it rolls, the tire becomes really a more interesting character than like any serial killer horror guy you've ever seen. Because
wow.
And that dusty terrain that you see there gives the whole movie a very eerie sense. It's almost as if like Roger Corman hired Antonioni to direct Duel. Is really what it is.
Wow.
Right?
Of course it is.
And who wouldn't think that? So that's the good part. Even the director admits that conceit maybe filled 45 minutes. So he needs something else. So here's what he did. He added another layer of meta whatever, where as the tire starts to roam around and blow up crows and it eventually graduates to people, there is a gallery of spectators with binoculars who are sitting and standing in the desert watching the tire do what it's doing. And the whole idea of the film is you're looking at these spectators who are fated day and night to watch this tire kill people, and you're thinking, what are these people doing here? Does Quentin have a point? And it turns out that there is a bit of a point, although I don't know how much the director really buys it. The point being is that the tire will continue to kill people as long as people watch it, which is to say, possibly, which is to say that movies only exist if there's an audience to watch them. And that tends, it's a little bit, the thing is that I don't know that the movie, I think the whole thing with the audience is just a bit of a goof.
But that could be a comment on tabloidism as well, where all of the junk that makes the tabloids, all of this horrible stuff that the news covers, they only cover because they know that we want to eat it up. I
agree with that as a statement.
Yes.
I don't know that he meant that in the film.
If the film is half as entertaining as your comments on it, I'm sold.
Here's the thing. Okay, here's ultimately my problem, which is why I'm just going to give this a rent, is that even though it has its giggly moments and the meta whatever is all hip and whatever, it's never quite funny enough and it's not really scary enough. It's okay. He wrings the concept out for as long as he possibly can, maybe another 5-10 minutes longer than it should have. It's maybe short a few big laughs. So really, you'll see it and you'll think it was an experiment that he went as far as he could with, and it's okay. There's some good stuff in it. There's some terrific performances in it. Visually, he does a very good job. But ultimately, it's not all that funny, not all that scary, so I would just give it a rent.
All right.
That is Rubber.
There it is. Mark Keizer.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Laying it out.
Let me just immediately crumble up my piece of paper and throw it at the camera.
And he gave
Get a few more hits.
And he gave it a rent. And there was a part of me that was hoping he would burn it so I could make a joke about Mark burning rubber. But you didn't go there. You didn't give me that. So.
All right, wait. So that's Rubber. So now you have something that you saw.
I do.
Right?
In a Better World. In a Better World is the Danish film from director Susanne Bier, also written by Thomas Anders Jensen, her usual screenwriter, who is also an amazing screenwriter for a host of other movies. Look up his credits on IMDb. You'll be blown away. The last film that they were Oscar nominated for was called After the Wedding. It was incredible, one of my favorite films of that year. And even though I don't think this is quite as good, this went on and won the Oscar this last year. And we're very happy for Susanne Bier because she is one of those European directors who has had something of a spotty experience in Hollywood. She came here after the Wedding and made Things We Lost in the Fire with Halle Berry and Benicio and the Del Toro.
Dud.
Yeah, the Del Toro.
Dud.
Benicio Del Toro.
Not a good movie, Wade.
And not a good movie. Wasn't a good movie. It misplaced all of her talents. This is back in form for both Susanne Bier and for Anders Thomas Jensen. The story here centers on two kids who become kind of unlikely friends in school. One is the new kid, and he's a little bit scarred from the death of his mother. He carries a knife with him, and he won't take any crap from anybody. The other kid is one who gets picked on, and it's these circumstances that lead them together and lead them into actually some relatively dangerous situations. Meanwhile, you're also focusing on the parents and the situations that the parents are involved in. The picked on kid, his parents are separated, and his dad is a doctor who often goes to Africa and does Doctors Without Borders work, performing surgery on people in war zones. And all of this comes together in an amazing, amazing tapestry of love and peace and how people interact with each other, and all of these incredible emotions flow all over this movie. And it's a tremendous film. It ends on a little bit of a melodramatic note, but let's take a look.
High five.
Oh, hey, it looks clear.
Har du godt at se dig igen?
Ja, det var godt at se dig. Jeg så knap.
Har du en god tur?
Ja, lång. Men det var bra.
Hej.
Nej.
Morten har lavet gave til dig, hvis du er sulten.
Klip dig.
Nej.
And that's a great scene if you've actually seen the movie. Otherwise, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it is the gift. Seriously, the gift that Susanna Bier and Jensen have is that they are able to capture these moments that feel, even if they're scripted, even if they're planned, the way they work with their actors, the way that they let all this evolve, even more so than someone like Mike Leigh, they really are able to capture this sense of spontaneity, as though you have just walked into the most intimate, uncomfortable moment from someone's life. And it has this feeling of being unplanned and yet at the same time incredibly dramatic and incredibly intense. There are moments here, just like in all of her other films, where you just don't see it coming, and it just blindsides you, and next thing you know, you're sitting in the theater and you're weeping uncontrollably because it captures all of the emotions that you associate with life. And I know that sounds really pretentious and kind of dorky, but that's what it does, and it's just an amazing film.
You know, I'm a little worried about Susanne Bier because I feel like she does a great film in her home country, comes to the United States, does something that's not very good, goes back to her home country, does another great film.
Yeah.
What's she going to do? Is she going to come back here and do
all the time. It happens all the time. You can go all the way back to people like Fritz Lang, Fritz Lang and even Renoir did their best work in their home countries. Came to Hollywood, meh.
I mean, Fritz Lang did a bunch of noir type stuff. Actually,
it's fine.
His American stuff is good.
It's good,
but not as good as M and all these other films.
But the classic stuff, it's the German expressionist stuff. And Renoir stuff is the French stuff, and it's Louis Malle. Louis Malle made a lot of great films in France, okay films here, not really great. So I mean, it's a common theme. Look, Paul Verhoeven made his best films. I mean, I love RoboCop and I love Starship Troopers, but he made his best films when he was still in Holland. Soldier of Orange.
Soldier of Orange and Das Boot and that kind of stuff.
No, Das Boot is Wolfgang Petersen.
Another one.
Look, has he ever made anything in English that's as good as Das Boot? No. So. You know what? That was a German film. English language, German made.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, he kicked his ass.
Yep. No, but it's I'm glad he brought it up. I'm glad he brought it up because that was his calling card for Hollywood. It's like, look, I can make an English language movie. Special effects. Hire me.
Right.
Anyway,
so
different subject.
That's In a Better World.
In a Better World, Susanna Bier, great film, won the Oscar, deserved to, go see it.
And that's a buy.
You get a buy?
That's a buy.
You got it.
Wade
It's a buy.
There's your buy.
So Wade did 2 movies this week, and they're both buys.
I know.
Wade's obviously buy.
Yeah.
He's overcompensating.
From last week. I owe it to somebody.
People tuned in to see you pissy, and now you're giving buys.
You know what? Honestly, be grateful. You got 2 good movies this week. Go see them both.
Oh, good spin. Oh, look at that. All right, so we have one more film to talk about. Wade, I saw this movie called Super.
I know you did.
Now, Super was buzzed about a lot in Toronto and was picked up by IFC. And Rainn Wilson, who is starting to become a little bit of a movie actor, he's got a very, shall we say, specific face that doesn't really lend itself to everything.
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson plays a schlubby chef who's had 2 perfect days in his life. The first one was when he thwarted a robbery when he was younger, and the second day was when he got to marry Liv Tyler. And the film starts with Liv Tyler being basically stolen away by this evil drug lord played by Kevin Bacon. So now you've got this schlubby guy. The only thing he's ever loved is taken away from him. The only other important day in his life is when he foiled a robbery when he was younger. That means he has everything he needs, a desire to stop crime, a desire to save the damsel. He has everything he needs to become a homemade superhero. Now let's take a look at a clip, and then we'll talk more about it.
We did it! We did it! We totally fucking beat evil!
Get
and then he'd never get a car again, would he? A brand new fucking Jetta, Frank. Melissa loved that car.
Don't say that.
What, Frank?
Don't stop saying. Ow! Oh, fuck. You really keyed your friend's car?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him.
Uh.
What? I didn't know I wasn't supposed to kill him. I mean, I'm just learning. You have to teach me these things.
How am I supposed to tell crime to shut up if I have to shut up?
I know, but I'm just trying to help. That's what it's all about for me, being a kid's sidekick, helping people.
That's helping people?
And he was evil. He was so fucking evil, and you won't believe me, Frank. Frank!
So there you see Rainn Wilson in his guise as the Crimson Bolt, along with his partner Bolty, played by Ellen Page, the best performance in the film. Now here's what I have to say about Super, which works up to a point, but ultimately I think fails as a whole. The movie is very violent, and it's sort of that street-level violence where, because Crimson Bolt doesn't have any special powers, he basically just takes a wrench and starts hitting people on the head. And he takes cinder blocks and beats them over the head with them. And the violence is very sudden and very street level and very jarring. And I kind of like some of it, but towards the end, it starts to get really violent to the point where it's a little off-putting. Something else I did like about the film is that it brings up two things, I think, of superhero culture, which is interesting. One is essentially the psychotic nature of anybody who would want to be a superhero. I think this kind of gets into that a little bit, which I liked. The other thing I thought was interesting, which the Bolty character sort of embodies, is sort of the fetishistic nature of superhero fan culture. And in the movie, Ellen Page has kind of a crush on Crimson Bolt, and of course not a crush on Rainn Wilson, but a crush on the character he plays. And I thought that was kind of interesting. The issue here is that James Gunn comes from the trauma school. Now, when you come from the trauma school, that means one thing. You just throw everything at the screen. You don't care how cheesy it is, how bad it is, willfully bad or not. You throw it all up there and you hope for the best, because that's trauma. And this film really is tonally all over the place. It's got some good ideas, but in the end, it just doesn't come together as a whole. And I think Rainn Wilson doesn't really invest us emotionally in the character. And the end of the film winds up being so mawkish because he can't really take us there. So while there's some good stuff to it, and I think that the hipster crowd will get a kick out of it, ultimately as a whole, I would just have to give it a rent. That's what I think about Super, Wade.
All right.
Not so super.
I mean,
kind of super.
So how does it compare to Defendor?
I like Defender a lot. I like Defender more than this.
Okay, because I actually like Defender. I actually kind of like Special, even though it was very kind of low rent with Michael Rappaport. Similar deal, except there he's, ramming his head into walls, which I found disturbing.
Well, and Kick-Ass, which this is a little bit like, we both love Kick-Ass.
Oh,
but Kick-Ass was...
Was that sarcasm?
No, we love Kick-Ass.
For real. No, we did.
That was one of the biggest raves of the year we
But it was. But the problem with Kick-Ass was it was horrendously mismarketed, much the same way that Paul is being mismarketed. They marketed both of those to the wrong audience. Kick-Ass was not a movie for teenagers, and neither is Paul. They should both be marketed to people in their 40s.
But the problem is that the studios are afraid that people in their 40s don't run out to see films on opening weekend.
Yeah, so leave them in theaters longer.
How are you going to have bragging rights to be the #1 film if you market to 40-year-olds, Wade?
It's a myth. No one cares what the #1 film is. Just like people don't care what #1 on the Billboard charts is.
Well,
they don't care.
Well, definitely Billboard. But you know what? When you on Sunday afternoon, you start reading on CNN.com and on all the sites which film is #1, and it gets annoying
no one
too.
Cares.
It gets annoying too when you have movies that are like really neck and neck.
Yeah.
Where like one makes $21 million and the other one makes $20.8 million, and yet the one that makes 21 it gets all the bragging rights.
You know what bragging rights are? 50 years after you make a movie, they release a special edition.
No, you know why? Because
that's bragging rights.
No, because the stockholders are not going to wait 50 years in order to see a return on their investment on Kick-Ass.
Well,
and Sucker Punch and all this other crap.
Some may hang on to their stocks for that long.
I will not be alive for that much longer, unfortunately. In fact, I'll be dying tonight after the show. That's how bad it's going. That's how bad the show's going right now. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up before we get to news.
Do it.
Source code's a buy.
Yep.
Rubber's a rent. In a Better World.
Buy.
And Super's a rent. It's not a bad week in movies, Wade.
Not at all.
It could be picking up.
This weekend in movies.
This weekend in movies, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, can you get an applause sign?
Yeah. As soon as we get tally lights on the camera, so you know which camera to look at, we'll get applause sign after that.
I only have 2 cameras to look at. I look at that one.
We'll set up a Kickstarter campaign for an applause sign.
Yeah. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Unbelievable.
Clap, because there's no applause.
No, yeah, don't clap. There's no applause sign yet. We don't know what to do.
Well, we're about to clap again. You know why, Wade? This is one of the best parts of the show every single week. What is it, Wade?
News with Chad Vader.
Chad, don't take the lack of applause to mean anything. It's not a qualitative judgment on your performance and how much we love the news.
I know. No applause sign. I get it.
What's going on there at the Empire Market, Chad?
At the Empire Market, things are pretty sweet, let me tell you. Pretty sweet.
I feel like there's a story there, Simon.
Okay.
No, that's it.
Or is that it?
That's all you need to know.
Okay, what's the news? All right, what do you got for us, Chad?
I've got news. Here it is.
Here we go.
Gilberto Sanchez, a New York-based glass installer, has pleaded guilty to movie piracy stemming from his illegal upload of the movie Wolverine in 2009. That's right, he's a pirate and a glass installer. This glass installing loser distributed an unfinished version or work print of Wolverine to the file sharing service Mega Upload. In between his daily glass installings, this renegade glass jockey then promoted the film on several movie forums, bringing shame to the reputation of glass installers everywhere. Then the FBI came calling, and his plans shattered, like so much installed glass. Now, with a possible 3-year jail sentence looming, his days of unrelenting glass installation may only be a sweet memory.
Oh, my goodness. You know, Wade, can I say something about this kid? Screw him. Throw him in jail. I'm sorry. Throw him in jail.
Well, they're obviously trying to make an example out of him. You know, it's the biggest problems with piracy are bigger than guys who upload movies to file sharing services. I mean, you know, it's people who bring cameras into the multiplex in Malaysia, and you know, it's the people at the post house.
Well, that's the deal with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy was related to a post house.
Yeah.
This came out of a post house.
But the problem is bigger than, you're not going to stop the problem by just prosecuting these guys. You have to actually change the chain of possession on movie elements, which is getting harder and harder to do as the elements become more and more digital. You know, but you do have to somehow police that chain of possession so that you know exactly who is doing what at what point in the process. And once you're able to track down a pirated copy to a specific point in time, in a specific place, and a specific person, that's when it'll end. That's when everyone will know that movies are like caller ID, that if you pirate a movie, at the moment you pirated it, you suddenly are attached to that movie at that point in time and at that place. If we can get to that point in the digital chain of supply, then we're good.
Well, our screeners as film critics, our screeners that we get at home, they come watermarked.
Yeah, and with a nasty little letter that says, if you pirate this, we will track you down and kidnap your family.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get those, I have to say.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the case at these post houses when they lend out DVDs.
No.
You know what? But you can also just pull some off the Avid.
But there are, yeah, you can pull them off the Avid. You know, there are screeners that are given to marketing people and advertising people and product placement people, and it's very, very loose. And nobody has really sort of shown, despite all their concern about piracy, nobody has shown the will to clamp down on that. So,
are they taking your cell phones? All Media Reviews, who's in our chat room on the Ustream, we're on Ustream and YouTube tonight, said they forced him. He was forced to check his cell phone at the screening of Win-Win a few weeks ago. Does that guys happen to you guys?
It happens.
It doesn't happen as much as it used to.
It used to happen all the time. It's kind of like security after 9/11. You know, getting onto a plane or even going into studios was like, it was insane. You couldn't you couldn't pass a studio gate right after 9/11 without having them look at your trunk and then run mirrors underneath the sides of the car. Now it's sort of like, well, yeah, okay, go. And it's kind of the same at screenings. They'll wand you a little bit, you know. For a while there were you know, pat downs and you know. So occasionally with a really big film, they'll make you check your phone or your you know, especially if there's a camera in it, but not really that much.
All right, Chad, what else you got?
Sarah Lane, Natalie Portman's dance double for Black Swan, told Entertainment Weekly that Portman only danced in about 5% of the dancing scenes, and that they used digital face replacement to make it look like she did. Director Darren Aronofsky refutes this claim. In other shocking news of Hollywood deception, James Franco did not actually saw his own arm off in 127 hours. Colin Firth was fake stuttering in the King's Speech, totally fake. And toys don't actually come to life when you leave the room.
What?
Ooh, Hollywood, when will the lies stop?
My childhood destroyed. You know what? To me, this is a non-story.
It's a non-story. I agree.
Right?
Look, this happens every once in a while when somebody who's involved with a hit film in a minor way wants to call attention to themselves and sort of piggyback the film's success to.
Well, you can look if you contributed to the success of a movie, that's fine. Yeah. But she shouldn't be doing it she shouldn't diminish Natalie Portman.
She's trying to further her own career.
Well, I don't know. I mean, basically, it sounds like somebody who's not involved in Hollywood. She gets a credit when you sign up to do a movie. You get a credit. Her credit was, I think it was hand model. I think they said she was.
Is that what it was? Hand model?
It was that, and it was the stunt double, right? And then they gave her stunt, and she obviously wanted dancing. Well, that's what you negotiate before.
Yeah.
I don't fault her for it. She probably didn't know any better, and then she saw it and went, "Hey, Natalie Portman, they're saying she did it all." Well, honestly, I did it.
Look,
I don't think she's looking for fame. I think she's just trying to go.
I didn't like that Aronofsky actually went public with a statement adding up the percentage that Natalie did, the percentage that he didn't need to do that.
He didn't need to do that.
You don't want to give credence to people who come out of the woodwork and say things like that.
No, you don't. I mean, look, she's just trying to further her own career, and she saw Natalie Portman collect an Oscar. She saw the movie make a ton of money, get some press. She thought, I'll make a stink, and maybe somebody.
I don't take it like that. Did she really make a stink, or did somebody just pick it up? I don't think she made a stink. I think she mentioned it. It seems like she said it somewhere, and then look at what she's saying.
Maybe.
So I don't know if I would judge her as harshly.
It's a non-story.
From what I'm reading, yeah.
Chad, how much of Natalie Portman's dancing did you do, Chad?
Oh, I didn't do any of it, but I watched all of it. Like a hawk. Like a hawk watches a swan.
Thanks for taking my non-starter question and making it funny, Chad. Chad Vader, everybody.
Brilliant.
All right, what else you got for us?
You better chain Wade down for this one.
Uh-oh.
According to Jeffrey Katzenberg and James Cameron, the 3D revolution is just beginning. Likening the new technology to when movies first went to color and the Wright brothers' first flight, these bozos think that 3D movies are going to be the next big evolution of cinema. Don't worry, Wade. I got this one. This camera! Give me this camera right here! Go to hell, you losers! Oh, you guys are 60 years old and you're making movies for 15-year-olds. When Francis Ford Coppola was your age, he'd already made Jack. When Francois Truffaut was your age, he was already dead. This camera, give me this camera right here. Get a life. You make me hate Wade's job.
That was awesome.
The rant that'll live forever. The rant is now being spoofed. Wade, you're being spoofed.
I am so honored. Thank you, Chad. I'm 1 week old and I'm the subject of satire. I'm so flattered.
You know what? Just go ahead and watch Weekend Update tonight on SNL. You never know.
You never know.
It could be there. By the way, can I say something? The reason why Katzenberg and Cameron are coming out and saying that 3D is the next big thing. You know why they're saying that now?
Yeah, because
it's not the next big thing.
It's trying to save face. Look, the only one of those guys who I really have a lot of respect for as someone who is far-sighted in this matter is Katzenberg. And I think he's wrong. I mean, I would agree with him with a lot of things, but not in this. And let's remember, George Lucas is the guy who said that movie theaters would go 100% digital and cameras would go 100% digital in like 5 years. And that was like 16 years ago. You know,
because it costs $70,000 to equip a theater to become digital.
Look, if 3D were the next big thing, it would have been the next big thing in whatever 1958 or 59, whatever when House of Wax was. It's kind of come and gone so many times, and they can perfect the technology as much as they want. But at the end of the day, people don't like wearing glasses, and it doesn't really enhance the experience. It really doesn't. I mean. A good movie shot in 65mm negative, 70mm projected, any of those great movies from the widescreen era, even Mad World, Lawrence of Arabia, all that stuff, that is a much more immersive experience than anything shot in 3D.
You mean My Bloody Valentine in 3D is not immersive?
No.
I don't understand.
Not really.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, Chad. Good stuff this week, Chad.
Awesome.
Thank you. I'm going to go call my landlord and yell at him.
Do it.
Chad's on a rampage. Thanks to Wade. Thanks, Chad. Chad Vader, everybody. All right, so Wade, we've done the movie thing, we've done the news thing. That means there's only one.
5 more segments to go.
Only 5 more segments to go.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We're now at the halfway point of the show, and actually, I think we are cutting the cord, Wade. That's what we're doing next.
Do it.
Come on, cutting the cord. There's a cord. You're gonna cut it.
No longer need cable. You can instantly watch things. I'll keep talking over it. Still good. Wow. Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you can watch it instantly, Wade.
Sure
Those
can.
are little apps floating by. Because if you're on Roku, which we love Roku, you can see the apps. Which will
Nice.
soon have an app on Roku, by the way.
Nice.
Streaming Garage, Stupid Movies will soon have its own app.
Really?
Good deal.
Unbelievable.
We're working on it.
Bravo.
All right, so we do this thing because, like Mike says, you got the Amazon, the Crackle, the Jamin, the Netflix.
Yep,
You can download
all
all
of
this
them.
great stuff. You don't realize that all these classics are actually streamable.
They
so
are.
we want to point out
Yep.
a couple every week. We're
Yep.
going to start right now.
Let's do it.
I'm going to start out with something that you can stream on Amazon. This is from 1951. This is Strangers on a Train, which I have a feeling that, snakes on a plane, but the thing is not that. It's the other thing that it's that.
That wasn't good. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
Okay.
Corey, you joker.
Why I oughta, you jokester. What was that line that he says? This snakes on a mother effing plane. What was that?
I'm sick and tired of these.
I'm sick and tired of these strangers on this mother effing train. Look, they can't all be gems. That's
Throw
what I can
paper
say.
next time.
If I throw paper, it becomes funny. It's unbelievable. All right, so the late Farley Granger, by the way, Farley Granger died.
Passed away
away
just
recently. Farley Granger plays a professional tennis player who meets Robert Walker on a train. The two start talking. It turns out that Farley Granger wants to divorce his wife. Robert Walker hates his father. So Robert Walker has a plan. Robert Walker will kill Farley Granger's wife. Farley Granger will kill Robert Walker's father. What is it, Wade?
It's the perfect murder.
It's crisscross. It's crisscross.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm looking at you.
Crisscross.
Wait, you know,
Crisscross.
the cameras
the
are
guy, the guy
crisscrossing.
who
It
wrote,
turns out
the guy
it-
who wrote and sang Arthur.
Yes, Christopher
Exactly.
Cross.
Christopher Cross.
It is the perfect murder.
Crisscross will make
And of
ya.
course, is it really the perfect murder? Of course not, because
No.
it is Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes.
And this is just a terrific movie. There's a lot of great stories about the film, including the original. The novel was written by Patricia Highsmith, who would go on to write the Talented Mr. Ripley and the Mr. Ripley series. Hitchcock wound up optioning the book for only $7,500. And the reason he was able to do that is because he never told Patricia Highsmith that he was the one who wanted to make the movie. So basically, he gets it for $7,500 because he kept his name out of it. And Patricia Highsmith was just glad that somebody wanted to make her movie. So by the time she finds out that the guy who just optioned her book was Alfred Hitchcock, she was pissed. Because she would have held out for a lot more money. So Hitchcock gets the book for $7,500, right? And he makes a great film. And what's terrific about the film, it's a great primer to learn about why Hitchcock was such a great director, because there's a lot of stuff in the film about doubles and doppelgangers and visual hints and clues and pairs of shoes walking down the street and shadows walking down the street at the same time, where you get the idea that like Walker represents the dark side of Granger's personality and vice versa.
Fences that separate
And
them.
fences
things like
that separate them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that stuff in there, and you really get a sense of how clever and sneaky Hitchcock was. And it's a great film to start out with if you're not that familiar with Hitchcock. So that is Strangers on a Train on Amazon.
Love it.
Wade, what do you got for us?
Love it. It's a great movie. I have got Notting Hill, which is available on Netflix, just the regular Netflix subscription, $7.99, right? $7.99. And Notting Hill, look, huh?
$7.99 a month.
Yeah, a month, right? Not for the movie. Yeah, $7.99 a month. And you can watch Notting Hill. Notting Hill is a terrific British romantic comedy starring Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts. Written by Richard Curtis, directed by Roger Michell. I mean, it's an amazing team. Hugh Grant plays this bookshop owner who just winds up having this American movie star played by Julia Roberts walk in, and next thing you know, kind of their relationship blossoms, and it goes through all the ebb and flow that you would expect a romantic comedy to go through, except it's Richard Curtis. And Richard Curtis being one of the great writers, especially of romantic comedies of our day, it's a delight from top to bottom, and it's probably Hugh Grant's most entertaining performance, I would think, alongside Four Weddings and a Funeral. It's got lots of great scenes in it. If you're a movie person, if you've ever been to a press junket, there are scenes in the movie that take place at a press junket. Hugh Grant, like, kind of goes in and pretends to be a journalist, and it's actually incredibly funny if you've ever been to one. I just love this movie.
I think this movie's terrific. You know what? We talk about romantic comedies nowadays and how dreadful they are.
Yeah.
And then you look at something like Notting Hill, especially that speech that Julia Roberts has at the end.
Yeah.
You know, where she takes all of her movie star wattage and she puts it into that one little speech to Hugh Grant.
I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl looking for a man, whatever. It's just fantastic.
There's also a sequence in there which I'm sure it was probably great in the script, but it's the way that Roger Michell directs it, where Notting Hill has this terrific market, this outdoor market that just goes for blocks and blocks and blocks, and there's a where Hugh Grant walks the length of that market as the seasons change, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful poetic moment.
It's a great way to show the passage of time and how lonely he is.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a terrific film. It really is. So we have Strangers on a Train. We have Notting Hill. My next pick is from 1979 and Justice for All. Now, this is directed by Norman Jewison, and it was written by, write this down, Valerie Curtin and Barry Levinson. Wow. Ladies and germs. A very strange combination, and you know what? When you
they wrote a lot of stuff together.
Well,
when they were married.
That's right. And when you see the film, you can really sense that their sensibilities coming together to do something that's kind of very satirical, but yet also kind of serious. Al Pacino plays an attorney who's hired by a corrupt judge to defend him on a rape charge, and it's essentially a comedy that takes its critique of the legal system very seriously in its own way, exposing the hypocrisies and the craziness of what it's like to defend, innocent people who are thrown in jail because they're found guilty on technicalities and they're innocent, all this sort of stuff. And the comedy is, one thing I will say about it, the comedy, it's broad and it's satirical and it's subtle and it's everything else. And the one element keeping it all together is Pacino. Now, Al Pacino gives one of those high-wire performances that were so great in the 70s, but they've now sort of become tired and cliche. It's like the only performance he can give. But in 1979, when he's yelling, "You're out of order, you're out of order, the whole trial's out of order," it was just a great moment. And there's a lot of great characters in it. Jeffrey Tambor is great in it.
He's so good.
And Jack Warden plays this crazy judge who eats his lunch on the high-rise ledge, and he likes to fly his helicopter and see if he'll run out of gas. It's just there's some crazy wild characters, and it's really good stuff. And it's just it's just terrific. They don't make them like that anymore.
They sure don't. I was going to say that.
It was up for 2 Oscars.
No studio today would touch that script.
No,
they wouldn't.
No,
wouldn't even get past the first stage of development.
Not really. I mean, because first of all, Barry Levinson's his stock is dropped.
Yeah. But I mean, even if let's say you had another name director, a major director today who had that kind of stature as Norman Jewison did then, you bring that to a studio and say, "I want to make this." No, nobody would even give them the time of day. They'd say, "Who's the audience for this?" And you go, "People want to see a good movie." What is that audience? I don't know that audience. Well, how do we market that?
Well, they couldn't go the studio route with that.
Of course not.
They have to find their money somewhere else.
Look, even Source Code. Like I said, Source Code 10 years ago would have been a Tom Cruise movie made by Paramount, summertime, tentpole.
Well, that's why. And then you'll give us your last one. Then we'll move on to Buy, Rent, or Burn. But that's the one thing about Source Code that I loved. And when the publicist emailed me today and said, "What'd you think of the movie?" I said to her, it was so refreshing to see a $35 million mid-budgeted film be that polished and smart and fun.
Yes.
You just don't get that for these mid-budgeted films. It's either got to be $175 million, in which case it's bloated and it sucks, or it's got to be $10 million. They don't make those mid-budgeted films anymore.
They sure
and
don't.
This one was just a winner, Source Code. Anyway, that's another conversation. Because Wade, you got one more for us.
One more for cutting the cord. Repulsion, Roman Polanski's 1965 black and white classic starring Catherine Deneuve. You can get this on Jaman. That's jaman.com, Jaman. That's $2.49 to rent it, $9.99 to download it and own it. Repulsion is still one of the creepiest movies you'll ever see. We have mentioned this recently. We mentioned this on our Halloween picks, wasn't it?
Yes, we did.
Wasn't it?
Yes,
Halloween
we did.
Picks? Repulsion is a great time when you're alone, in the dark. You really want to creep yourself out. Catherine Deneuve plays a woman who is in her sister's London apartment. She's visiting her sister. Belgian in the film is her nationality, not that it matters. She's visiting her sister. Her sister goes out. She's alone in the apartment, and she's sexually repressed, and her mind just starts to go, and she completely freaks out, and everything that she hallucinates will absolutely put you on the edge of your seat, and it will chill you to the bone. Sounds a little bit like Black Swan? It is Black Swan. Before there was Black Swan, minus the dancing. If you want the dancing, go watch The Turning Point. If you want Black Swan more effective than Black Swan, watch Repulsion. That's my rant.
You
for
don't
the
like
week.
Black Swan, do you? I love that
don't.
movie. Here's the thing with
Mike.
here's
It
the
was
thing
a funny
with
movie.
with Repulsion. Repulsion is great because it gives you all that creepiness.
Yeah.
No CGI.
No.
No CGI. What? No CGI? How's it possible?
actors,
How can a
what?
movie be good without CGI? It's impossible.
The
Scenes?
genius of
Scenery?
Polanski isn't just in some of the conceptual stuff. It's where he puts the camera, and it always has been. Rosemary's Baby as well. Polanski is incredible, and he even did this recently with Ghost Rider. Polanski knows better than anyone else how to put the camera in places where it just makes you uneasy, where it's just the placement of the camera, and you just say, I don't like where the camera is. I don't like how that shot's framed. I feel creepy. It's creeping me out. Somehow he does that, and it's amazing.
It is. It's a terrific film. So there you go. You got your basic Strangers on a Train. You got your basic Notting Hill.
Yep.
And Justice for All. And Repulsion. Four movies you can be streaming right now. Wade
Right
Major
now.
on Cutting the Cord.
Now.
All right.
Or after the show.
Or after the show, as Corey reminded us. All right, so there you go, folks. Now it's time for, what's the time for, Wade? Tell the folks.
Buy, rent, or burn.
More graphics. More graphics.
I have to say that J-Mac on the graphics this week, punching the buttons, making it happen.
Hey, you've been taking your sweet old time about it. So
Okay.
And I'm trying to move, I'm actually moving back to get him on camera, and he doesn't cut to himself.
Here we go.
There you go. I'm like,
Fantastic job.
you're praising him, and then he doesn't even hit the button to show himself on camera.
Try not to hand it up.
All right, so here's the thing. Mike's going to toss out some movie names that we got from Dig Nation. And,
No, this is Facebook.
Oh, this is Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
this week.
We're
Whoa,
doing
it's
the
a big deal.
Facebook thing. We're hitting Facebook a lot now.
Okay, we'll tell you if you should buy it, rent it, or burn it. Mike, go.
Yeah. They've never seen these. Here we go. From the Facebook, depends on number of likes. So on our Facebook.com streaming Stupid for Movies, the more they're liked, the more chance you get to be on the air. Number one, in first place, Jed Dye, with 16 people liking his suggestion, asked about Skyline. Is that even out yet on DVD?
What the hell's wrong with you people?
You gotta wait.
Yeah,
I think they want you to rant now.
Skyline, just came out on Blu-ray and DVD about 2 weeks ago or
So
so.
good.
I'm
Go, Wade, rant monkey. Go, rant monkey.
Sucker Punch, baby.
Whoa, wow, really?
Oh, sucker punch.
Yeah, you got it.
There we go.
There it is.
Oh, it's not.
It's shattering so hard that it's
a little slow motion. And if you don't know, that what we do is we have buy, rent, or burn. Burn being the worst, unless it's really bad. And they take the worst movie of the year. Right now, that's Sucker Punch, worst movie of the year.
Skyline is not good.
I think. By the way, that was a studio pickup. It wasn't like
I know it was independently made, and it shouldn't have been.
And it shouldn't have been made at all. All right, so I'll sucker punch that too.
Jeremy Aruda from our.
Well, I don't get my sucker punch.
Oh wow! You want another one?
That's mine. Mine was better than Wade. Mine was smoother.
Okay.
Thank you, Corey, for that amazing Sucker Punch graphic.
I do it because I love you.
Jeremy.
I applauded. I want it out there.
Jeremy Aruda from Facebook with 14 people liking his suggestion. The Wicker Man, 1973 original.
Oh, sure. No, you know what? No, okay, buy that, but you've got to rent the Nick Cage one. I mean, come on.
No.
It's the best.
No.
It's awesome.
Awesome, awful.
Is that the one with the bear suit? You get
That's
punch
the one with the
down
bear
there?
suit.
And directed by Neil LaBute of all people.
I know,
No,
that's
it's
bizarre.
just the worst.
Okay, do
pairing.
this. No,
the wrong actor, the wrong director, and a film that never should have been
Wait, we're
made.
talking about 1973 original.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
original
buy
is great.
that.
The original's great. The original's terrific. It's just great.
Is that a buy?
Buy the original Wicker
Yeah,
Man, and then when you're done, go on YouTube because there's a lot of videos of people who had condensed the entire Wicker Man experience with Nick Cage down to like 7 minutes. And it's nothing but 7 minutes of Nick Cage doing his whole method crazy. I have a tax burden, so I need to act sort of thing. You know, it's just the best.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
With 14 likes on the Facebook page, from Mike Rotman Crazy X. It scares me. I'm like, who is that? They ask about Match Point and who are you? Why do you keep using my Crazy X name?
Match
Point's the last great Woody Allen film.
You know, it's very Patricia Highsmith, actually.
You know what? That is true. It is actually.
It really is. It's very. We were talking about Patricia Highsmith and Strangers on a Train. Match Point is a Woody Allen murder mystery set in or murder story, murder thriller really, set in the UK, and it's incredible because you would never expect Woody to make that genre in that place and master and nail the British dialogue. You know, because it's not the same cadence as New York English. It's London English, and he nails it. It's great.
It's the sort of film that I didn't know he knew how to make.
I agree.
You know, and it's great. I would buy that.
Yeah, buy.
And the Woody Allen commentary on the Blu-ray is fantastic. Oh wait, Woody Allen doesn't do commentaries on anything ever.
13 people like this next one on Facebook. Matthias McNaughton asks about 300.
I don't like 300. You know what? No, burn that.
In honor of Zack Snyder, I'm going to say Sucker Punch.
No, I'll burn it. I'll say Sucker Punch.
Wade gives it a Sucker Punch.
Somebody wanted Ray to go on a Zack Snyder rant.
I know they did. I did that last week. I can't be Andy Rooney every week. No. I can't do that. It's got to be organic.
Moving on, Facebook page, another one with 13 likes. Dean Carson, I believe is a new person, asks about Watchmen.
Oh, come on.
And then put an LOL next to it.
Come on.
Look, the fans are asking.
Watchmen, here's what I would do. I will watch, I will buy the first 7 minutes of that film and then burn the rest.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say rent it and just fast forward through it and only watch the Jackie Earle Haley stuff. If you just watch every scene that Jackie Earle Haley is in, you see all the good parts, and then forget about the rest of the movie. Especially Billy Crudup as the naked blue guy.
So, do we have a graphic for watch the first 10 minutes and burn the rest? Do we have a graphic for that?
It's Brent.
Where are you?
Wait, I could play the first part of Bye.
Yeah, do that. Oh!
Wow!
Yeah, impressive.
Broadcaster J-Mac, look at that. I don't know how you did that.
It's a conditional rent, because Jackie Earle Haley is really good in it.
That's impressive. All right, 9 people like Rebecca Carson's Dawn of the Dead. Also a new person. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Just
Dawn of the Dead.
People, stop it, people.
This like thing is not working very well.
It's another Zack Snyder.
yeah, it's all Zack Snyder. Let's go back. Let's say.
By the way, Dawn of the Dead is probably his best freaking film, and that doesn't say a lot, but it probably is.
Burn, because the original, anything.
Let's say it's the original one. Is there an original Dawn of the Dead, or is
yeah?
Oh yeah.
It's the Romero film.
The Romero film's terrific.
But original Dawn of the Dead. That's what we're going with. Original Dawn of the Dead.
I would buy that.
I would rent that.
I'd buy that.
Okay, buy and rent for the original.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. We're not even going to talk about the new one.
Is that every Zack Snyder film now?
Yeah, pretty much. Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Oh,
any Owls of Ga'Hoole, anybody?
You gotta buy that. How can you not?
Sorry. With 9 people liking Kevin Poblet, I'll say Kevin Poblet, because names sound fancy. Kevin Poblet asked about Babel.
Yeah, you gotta buy that. I mean, it's a tough watch. It's not like
my favorite film of that year. Look, Babel is everything that a great movie should be. It follows no discernible structure. It follows no rules. It just tells a great story. It all these different continents, all these different people. It's amazing. Iñárritu is a genius, and that film rules.
Iñárritu was working with the same writer when he did a lot of those films.
Yes.
And that writer, by the way, was not on Beautiful.
No.
That was Iñárritu without that writer.
Yes, whose name we're both forgetting.
But when those two guys were a 1-2 punch, they were great. And Babel's Bye.
All right, let's wrap this up in the Facebook. We got a couple more from YouTube and Ustream. So facebook.com/stupidformovies. Please go there, like us, and get your friends to like your suggestions for Buy, Rent, or Burn each week. Clint Sanders with 7 people liking Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan.
Oh, it's my favorite film of all time! I've seen that movie more than any other film I've ever seen. I followed that thing from the National Theater in Westwood all the way down to the piece of crap little 99-cent theater, which probably was also in Westwood. But I have to say, and I tracked down that James Horner album, and I wanted a goddamn sweater, just like Captain Kirk had when he went down into that nebula thingy and it had like a collar on it. I wanted one of those, and I found one! And I found one, and I found one with a collar on it! And that's Star Trek 2, so I say burn it.
You almost got J-Mac to burn it. I'm like, no!
Already hit 5.
I'm.
My all-time favorite film. I've seen it so many times.
You know, look. I am.
Wade and I have had this conversation for 20 effing years. Wade, tell them how much you love Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I'm the guy who loves Star Trek: The Motion Picture and Star Trek V and doesn't like the rest of them. I kind of like Star Trek VI.
Get out.
I know. What? I'm that guy. I admit it. I'm that guy. I don't like Wrath of Khan. And at the time, I was a teenager, and I actually started to write this really extended 19-page angry letter to Starlog magazine about how Star Trek II was a betrayal of the whole thing that the first film had started. And I gave up because I was so angry I couldn't finish it.
Wow.
I'm not a fan of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan for a lot of reasons, but I will say Rent, because I know the kind of people who like it. So
I had the Star Trek II photo novel. I had the.
I know you did.
I had the poster.
By the way, the last time Kirstie Alley was not
fat,
corpulent.
That is true.
All right, let's move these. We got.
And by the way, she should have been in Star Trek 3, but she asked for too much money, so they said, "Screw you, lady," and they got Robin Curtis.
All right, let's run through these last few. Ready? As quick as we can. Ustream, Lady Diode asks about A Business Affair.
What's that?
Oh, well, Lady Diode.
Business Affair.
I think Lady Diode might have stumped us last week, too.
Yeah.
No, do we have a director on that?
Wait,
director,
no,
year?
Wait. It's I think it's a Christopher Walken movie.
That narrows it down to about.
Oh, is that
movies.
wait?
In honor of his birthday, she said.
Christopher Walken. Wait, that's not the Alex Cox film, is it?
1994.
Alex Cox?
Who's that?
Director?
No.
No.
Charlotte Brandstrom.
No, I don't know what this is.
Jonathan Pryce is in it.
All right, moving on.
Stumped. Moving on. Sorry,
From
Lady Diode.
BJJK in the Ustream chat room asks about In the Mood for Love.
Yeah, I would buy that.
But, you know, Wong Kar-wai's acquired taste, and a lot of people kind of find it a little bit. It's just so beautiful.
It's so beautifully shot.
Done.
It's terrific. Buy that.
Yeah, buy that for sure.
Let's go to
Maggie
YouTube.
Chung's just so
YouTube,
good.
Artsy Torres asks about Changeling? Changeling.
The Eastwood film?
The Eastwood film?
I'm going to say buy. I love that film.
You know what? I don't love that film. I
love
say
that
rent
film.
to that.
I
I'm
love
not a big
that
fan of that movie.
I think Angelina Jolie is tremendous in it, and I don't always say that about her because I think sometimes it's like she's so beautiful it hurts and you can't quite buy her in the role.
May I say something controversial? Angelina Jolie, I don't get it, not beautiful.
Well,
I agree.
Burn it.
I don't
Burn
get
her
it.
beauty.
But the
J-Mac, cue it up.
The beauty can interfere with the performance sometimes. It can overwhelm her.
Not if you don't think she's beautiful.
Well, okay. Anyway. The looks, let's say. I'm going to say buy. That's a great film, a creepy story, a true story, and really well done. I think some of the best directing Clint Eastwood's ever done.
All right, Mike, go. Here we go.
One more from YouTube. The Gray Cell asks about Arsenic and Old Lace.
Aww.
The Cary Grant.
The Cary Grant film.
For sure.
Of
Frank
course.
Capra, yeah.
Gotta buy that.
Buy it, for sure.
It's fun, and it's frothy, and it's hilarious, and it's just a lot of fun.
So every week, go on our Facebook page, and then also in the live chat, and we'll pick yours for Buy, Rent, or Burn. There was one I'm going to mention, Lance Horatio Taylor.
Yeah, we like Lance.
Here's the problem. He had a Yankee symbol for his icon on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Whoa, Lance Taylor! Lance Taylor.
Yeah, if you have a Yankee avatar, the chances are I'm probably not going to choose your Buy, Rent, or Burn.
You know, I'll say this about Lance Taylor. Did he not just have his first baby?
No, that was a different guy.
Who was that?
All
right, wrap up the segment.
Yeah.
Oh, we have now Wade and I do a podcast called The Digigods. It's on IGN.com, and we had one of our loyal listeners emailed us with photos of the child.
But we plugged that on the podcast.
We did plug that on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Here's what we want to plug on this show. Go see Source Code. Go support.
Forgot to wrap up.
Huh?
All right, keep going.
No, wait.
Buy, Rent, or
Buy,
Burn.
Rent, or Burn!
Yeah. Then you do the wrap up.
Oh, then you do the wrap up.
Yeah. That'll edit real well on YouTube.
Go support Source Code. Why, Wade? You want to support.
It's a real movie.
You want to support those mid-budgeted, non-bloated, smart, intelligent, fun thrillers.
Source Code is a commercial film with an A-list cast, loaded with special effects, mind you.
All green screen.
All green screen that look terrific, and it's only $35 million, which says to me there's no reason. I mean, District 9, $30 million. There's no reason ever to make a movie more than $35, $40 million in this day and age. It's all bloat once you get past $40 million.
Before we say goodnight, let's just hope and pray
that
Source Code outgrosses Sucker Punch over the weekend.
It will.
Right? It's only $20 million bucks.
The one, Sucker Punch came in second, right?
Yeah, behind Wimpy Kid.
Behind Wimpy Kid, which is the best. I thought it was so great. I love that. All right, guys, go see Source Code. We'll see you next time. Woo!